Hi guys, I'm Laura Vitale. On this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I'm going to show you how to make angel food cake. It's absolutely delicious. It's relatively simple to make. It is really easy and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. But the first thing you need to do is go over the ingredients so you can get started. You're going to need some cake flour, egg whites, regular granulated sugar, vanilla extract, almond extract, cream of tartar, and salt. Those are your ingredients. Angel food cake is great. There's no butter in it, there's no oil in it, there's very little flour in it, and it's made with egg whites. So it is kind of figure friendly. There is sugar in it, but you can't win them all, can you? So before we get started, let me give you a few pointers on angel food cake because I do know that a lot of people that have been emailing me requesting the recipe have been telling me that they feel intimidated about making angel food cake. There's a few steps, a few things that you need to know before you start. The first thing you need to do, of course, get your oven preheated, but that's like always. But the key things to this is, if you're gonna make it in a standard mixer, like a standing mixer like I'm doing it, you wanna make sure that your bowl and your whisk is really, really clean. There is to be no residue of anything in there because otherwise the egg whites will not get that beautiful glossy color. Second thing is you must use cake flour. It's much, much finer than regular all-purpose flour, giving you that light, soft, airy inside that makes the angel food cake so special. The second thing is that you need to have egg whites, and make sure that when you are separating your egg whites that no yolks go into your egg whites. Otherwise, they're not going to get nice and stiff peaks and beautiful like they should. And third thing is you have to have an angel food cake pan like so, and it cannot be greased. This is non-stick, but you want non-stick, but you do not want to grease it at all. You don't want any grease in this recipe whatsoever. Okay, now that the oven's preheated, let's get started. The first thing we need to do is sift the flour. Now you guys already know that I'm not a big fan of sifting just because it takes time, but this time you need to sift, and you don't only have to sift once, but you have to sift this 3 times. You want to make sure that this is lump free, and by sifting it, it gets nice and airy and just delicious and gives you that perfect consistency. So all I'm going to do is sift this 3 times, going from this bowl to this bowl to this bowl. See those little lumps there? You don't want any of those. So now I'm going to do exactly the same thing and sift it into this bowl. Last time to sift. Perfect. Now you're going to set this aside. Another really key point to this is that your egg whites must be at room temperature. Now, it's much easier to separate your eggs when they're cold. So separate the eggs from the whites and the yolks, put the yolks into the fridge. It makes for a fantastic ice cream. You can make custard with it. Don't throw them away. But then keep the egg whites at room temperature for about a half an hour. And now I'm just going to put these into my mixer along with the cream of tartar and the salt. And the cream of tartar stabilizes the egg whites, and makes them kind of hold their shape better. So all I'm going to do is just mix this until it's nice and frothy. Now that my egg whites are nice and frothy, I'm going to start adding in my sugar 1 tablespoon at a time. I'm going to add in my vanilla and my almond extract. And now I'm just going to crank the speed up to high. That's a little too high. And let those whip up until the egg whites become nice and stiff peaks and glossy. That looks exactly how I want it to look. So now I'm going to get rid of this, put this in my sink, get my bowl, and now it's time to fold in your cake flour. And I'm going to do this just 1/3 at a time and just folding it like so. You don't want to deflate the egg whites. That's why we do this by hand instead of doing it with the mixer running. That's good. Just fold it in the last of my flour. And now I'm going to just put this in my ungreased tube pan. Just trying to get this to be as even as you can manage. Make this as leveled as possible. That looks fabulous. And now you're going to take a butter knife, and I just do little swirls. And this just kind of gets the air bubbles out if there are any, because you don't want air bubbles. So, that looks perfect. Looks like a big cloud. I guess that's why they call it angel food cake, right? Now this is going to go into your preheated oven at 350 for about 40 to 45 minutes. You will see that the outside is like light brown and cracked on top, and I show you what to do the minute it comes out of the oven. My My angel food cake was in the oven for 40 minutes and it's exactly how it should look. Now this is extremely important. This cake has to cool upside down. It just has to, otherwise it's going to fall on itself and become really heavy. And you want to put the pan on something that's going to hold it upside down, and I use a heat-proof wine bottle. It works every single time. Just make sure there's actually liquid in it that holds it nice and steady. And this is going to cool like this for about an hour and a half or until it's fully cooled. And like I said, this step is crucial, has to happen. So I'm just going to set this aside for about an hour and a half, and then I'll show you what it looks like once it's cooled. My angel food cake is completely cold, so now I can take it off of the bottle. Take a knife, I'm just going to run it right on the edge, the center as well. Now you just lift it out, and then I just take my knife, run it right the bottom. Dun, dun, dun. Put it on a cake plate. Oh, it's so beautiful. Smells fantastic. I just want to stare at it for just a second because it looks so beautiful. Now we're going to go right into it and give it a nice slice, but I'm going to clean up first. Let's give this a slice. It's so soft. Just cutting it is like, make sure you cut it with a serrated knife so that you don't damage it. And look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. Take some berries, put that alongside for a good contrast in colors and of course taste. But I just really want to give the cake a taste. You can see it's just so beautiful and light. It's delicious. It's the softest, most fluffiest cake you will ever put in your mouth. It's so good. It's not heavy at all. And this recipe is totally foolproof. If you just follow this recipe and follow the key steps I told you about, you will have perfect angel food cake on your table anytime, whenever you're ready, whenever you want it, whenever you have company over, or just you want to make yourself some angel food cake. You know what I'm saying? To get this recipe and others, go to www.learninthekitchen.com. I'm going to continue to eat this because it's really delicious. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.